The Naples Senior Center opened its doors almost 5 years ago to 80 initial members. Today we have over 1,400. At any given day, except for Wednesdays when we have our large luncheons for 200 members, we have close to 100 seniors coming through our doors using our variety of programs. In addition to those programs, our geriatric case management program enables seniors to access community resources so that they can age in place safely and with dignity. Our dementia respite program has increased from one group 3.5 years ago to 8 groups today, including 2 on Marco Island. We are always so grateful to the Women's Foundation of Collier County for enabling us to address all of the needs that the seniors bring to our doors. In fact, the Women's Foundation of Collier County has been with us since we began just 5 years ago.
The Women's Foundation of Collier County has given a grant which is so helpful and so important, and for which we are so appreciative and grateful, because we couldn't do a lot of the things they enable us to do. My husband was not hearing properly. Took him for a hearing test, and they gave him a hearing aid. The technician who was showing him how to use it came back to tell me he had cognitive problems. So at that point, we were going to the VA, and they came back with the fact that he had mild to moderate dementia. The Naples Senior Center offers respite, offers advice. I can talk to people. I can take part in activities. They just understand, and they do so much for the caregiver as well as for the person that's in their class. I get so much help from the Naples Senior Center. Truthfully, I don't know what I would do without them, and I recommend to anybody and everybody how wonderful it is.
The Crossroads program at the David Lawrence Center recently received a grant from the Women's Foundation of Collier County. With this grant, we will be able to help pregnant or recently postpartum women access addiction treatment. When we know that we have a woman in our community who is struggling with addiction, is pregnant, recently postpartum, we want to get her into treatment within 48 hours. We want to get that person in, get them started, get them safe off the streets, and break the cycle of addiction. We hope to assist women in delivering a healthy baby by being off the streets and being safe, and also hopefully reunify if there are children that have been maybe placed in foster care with family members.
I learned about the David Lawrence Center through the DCF department due to my children being taken away from me from my battle with alcohol. It's amazing how much care and love that they can give to the clients. They cry for you, you feel a lot of love. It feels like a family setting at David Lawrence. I've been sober for 1 year and 3 months. Thank you to the David Lawrence Center. They've taught me to value family, to value sobriety, to take life on life terms. If it wasn't for the David Lawrence Center, the love and the support that the staff here gives, I would not be where I am at today. Thank you, David Lawrence Center. Thank you, Crossroads. And thank you, Women's Foundation of Collier County.
I think that we could all agree that domestic violence is an epidemic across the country, and Collier County and Naples is no exception. Last year alone, there were close to 1,800 calls to law enforcement as a result of domestic violence, and we know that only half of victims are said to even call law enforcement for support. And so, until we're able to help these families, break that cycle and get the support and services that they need, then we're going to continue to have, next generations of victims and abusers. The shelter appreciates the support of the Women's Foundation of Collier County in helping us to create an emergency shelter and outreach center for victims of domestic violence and human trafficking in Collier County.
So I graduated summa cum laude from Salem State College up in New England. My degree was in psychology and women's studies. And I have 3 older brothers. I have beautiful parents that are still together. So I would never consider myself a victim of domestic violence. I feel I would have left and never participated in anything like that. So it definitely was something for me that when I finally did have to come to grips with that, it took me a long time to really believe that and say, that I was a victim of domestic violence. So when people think of a shelter, myself included, when I was told I was coming here, I again didn't believe it was me. I don't need that. That is something for those people that need that. And then I thought of, all of us in one room, sharing one gigantic room and cots and chaos. And I wanted no part of it. But really the reality of the shelter in Naples and soon to be Immokalee, it is a place of absolute light and safety and peace. The Immokalee shelter is so important because socioeconomically, it's very different than Naples in the fact that, most of these women don't own cars. They can't get transported to a shelter easily. And so they're left in a situation where they feel like they have to stay because they have no means of getting out in a safe way. My boiling point was when I realized that there was a weekend I was left alone at my home, that he had taken the boys away for the weekend, that I truly believed that I was in danger from someone coming to kill me while he was gone. And that reality, while it seemed crazy to me, I actually spoke it out loud to somebody, and they finally said to me, "Are you listening to yourself? This isn't something normal people think about." And so we left, obviously, that weekend so I wouldn't be there. And when I came in and the gate shut behind me, and then a door shut behind me that locked, and then another door shut behind me that locked, the further I got in, the safer I felt for the first time in a long time. I think it's important because of the denial that you have, a lot of women have, that they're in danger. That's the culture we live in, is that the woman has to prove, right, that she's telling the truth and that she is the first to be unbelieved. So men have the ability to say this didn't happen, and women have to prove that this happened. So they have to have scars, and they have to have bruises, and they have to have things happen to them to have this be a real thing. And I think that it's important for me, the fact that that my husband just killed his wife and her daughter and himself, just shows me and gives me some validation and vindication of what happened to me and what I lived through and the fear that I lived with for the last 15